7 reasons everyone loves talking about why Connecticut is so great. But what if you're seriously considering a move here in 2026? Before you start scrolling homes or packing up your imaginary boxes, I want you to hear the hard truths that no relocation video talks about, things people regret, the part locals complain about, and real world trade offs that you're signing up for. Today, we're not selling Connecticut. We're telling you 7 honest reasons why this might not be the place for you. So let's get into it. For context, I've lived in Connecticut my entire life. I run a real estate brokerage here. I raised my family here, and I see relocation decisions up close every single day. I'm not throwing shade. I'm giving you the truth. Someone should have told you before you bought here. You deserve clarity early, not confusion later. So let's be clear, Connecticut has a lot going for it, but every place has trade-offs. And Connecticut's trade-offs are real. They're impactful once you live here, and especially if you're moving from a lower cost state with a booming job market or a place with gentler winters. This video isn't doom scrolling. It is simply a reality check. There are a few additional realities about living in Connecticut that don't quite fit into the 7 reasons, but they're things that relocation buyers often discover after they move here. So think of these things as bonus things that the locals already know. And if you're considering a move, they're definitely worth understanding. Reason number 1, the high cost of living. We'll start right with the biggest one. Connecticut is not cheap. The homes, the rent, the utilities, the groceries, they all trend above the national average. Even outside the pricey coastal or commuter towns, the baseline cost of living here in Connecticut is way higher than most states. Property taxes alone can take the wind out of your financial plans. Connecticut's rates are among the highest in the nation, and those bills don't go away after the closing. The state also ranks very poorly for renters. High rent relative to income and limited vacancies make apartment hunting feel like a game of which landlord will I call first? High rent relative to income and limited vacancy can make apartment hunting feel like a game of which landlord should I call first? For buyers and renters alike, living here often costs more than people expect, and that's before you factor in heating, insurance, and everyday expenses. Bonus reality number 1, the energy costs in heating. One thing that surprises people relocating to Connecticut are the energy costs. Heating a home here in winter isn't a small expense. Depending on the property, homes might use natural gas, propane, electric heat, or even oil. And if you've never lived somewhere that uses heating oil before, that alone can feel different. Instead of a steady monthly bill, some homeowners have to fill an oil tank periodically, which can mean larger seasonal expenses when the temperature drops. And winters here aren't just cold for a few days. Cold stretches can last weeks. It can last a whole month. That means heating systems run constantly. Electric rates in Connecticut are also among the highest in the nation, which adds another layer to monthly costs. Now, homeowners often do adapt. Many people improve insulation, they install efficient systems, they convert heating types, they add pellet stoves or a wood stove. But if you're relocating from a state where heating bills are minimal, this can be a culture shock. Reason number 2, the property tax burden. This one deserves its own slot because it's different from a normal cost of living. High property taxes affect every homeowner, and many people only discover how heavy the burden is after they buy it. Connecticut doesn't have a statewide property tax, but local mill rates can be tough, even in smaller towns. That can dramatically affect your monthly carry costs, your affordability, and your long-term investment math. Buyers coming from low-tax states often tell me this is the moment they realize the move was costlier than expected. Bonus reality number 2, the age of the homes. Another huge surprise for relocating buyers coming to Connecticut. This is not a state filled with endless new subdivisions. A huge portion of homes were built decades ago, sometimes even over a century ago. Now, older homes, they could be fantastic. They have so much character, so much charm, often have great solid construction, beautiful woodwork, and established neighborhoods, but older homes also come with older systems: electrical panels, plumbing, insulation, septic systems, roofing. These are all things buyers often end up updating. A home might look great during a showing, but still needs improvements behind the walls. If you're moving from a region of full, brand new developments, Connecticut housing can feel very, very different. It's simply a more mature housing market, which means inspections, maintenance, upgrades are all going to be a part of your experience. Reason number 3, growth and job market challenges. Connecticut does have major employers, insurance firms, health systems, some big manufacturing hubs, but the statewide job market growth has lagged compared to some booming states. Unemployment rates, slow growth sectors, and shrinking younger population, there's no shortage of job openings, but growth is not explosive. You might find good jobs, but rapid career advancement or ecosystems of startups, not like some southern or western states. If you're moving here for opportunity, be sure you have clarity on the jobs before you commit to Connecticut. Bonus reality number 3, the pace of life. Another thing relocating buyers notice often after moving here is the overall pace. Connecticut is not nonstop. It is not a high energy place. It is not Miami. It is not Austin. It's not even Nashville. Many towns are quiet, suburban, and very residential. Restaurants close earlier in major cities. Nightlife is limited outside of a few specific areas, and many communities prioritize privacy and neighborhood over constant activity. For some people, that's exactly what they're looking for: peace, space, a slower pace. But for others, especially moving from large cities, it can take a little bit to adjust. Understanding the lifestyle here is just as important as understanding the real estate market. Reason number 4, and this one plays a big part, it takes a toll on my soul. We have miserably long winters. Half the people who live here love the 4 seasons. The other half complain about the long, cold, snowy winters. And it's not just a meme. Winters in Connecticut can bring significant snowfall, icy roads, extreme heating costs. Just imagine this. Snow removal budgets in town are getting maxed out. Storm after storm strain the municipal resources, and that's reflected in your annual taxes and your commute. For people accustomed to milder weather with a little bit of snow, this hits way harder than they expected. Reason number 5, the infrastructure reality check. If you love smooth roads and easy driving, well, Connecticut's not going to be for you. Potholes, aging infrastructure, rough local roads, they are frequently complained about, and it affects your daily life more than most people think. Commuting during rush hour or after a winter storm can feel like an endurance test rather than a trip to work. Even locals joke about the road conditions. It's a real daily drag, and it doesn't show up in the listing photos. Reason number 6 is economic disparity. Connecticut is wealthy, but that wealth is unevenly distributed. Affluent towns sit right next to struggling towns, and the contrast shows up in the services, the schools, the opportunities, and even the public perception. The state's income and wealth gap is one of the most pronounced in the nation, and that translates into very different lived experiences depending on where you land. That's something newcomers don't always grasp at first, but they definitely notice it over time. Reason number 7, culture, and people. And yes, this is one people talk about quietly before moving here. Some people find Connecticut locals to be reserved, slow to warm up, and less social than they're used to. It's not universal. Not everyone experiences it this way, but the region's social vibe is real. And it can be surprising if you're coming from places with more outgoing cultures. Connecticut can feel quiet, self contained, and even isolating if you're new, especially compared to the big city scene. Look, I'm not here to talk you out of Connecticut forever. I'm here to give you a reality of what most relocation videos skip. Every place has trade offs. In Connecticut, these are just some of the real ones right now. Another bonus reality: who Connecticut works best for. After helping relocation buyers move here for years, I've noticed a pattern. Connecticut tends to work best for a certain type of person: people who value stability, people who want access to cities like New York or Boston without living directly in them, people who enjoy seasons, outdoor space, and quieter communities, people who are thinking long term. It's for buyers who want the balance of location, history, and stability. Connecticut could be a great fit. But for people chasing the fastest growing cities or ultra low cost of living, the adjustment is just hard. And that's why having this conversation before moving to Connecticut is so important. If you're considering the move, figure out whether these downside factors matter to your lifestyle before you call an agent, and definitely before you make an offer. Clarity early saves frustration later. Some objections I always hear: but Connecticut has great schools. True, many communities do, but you have to be sure you pick the right communities for what you're looking for. But the Four Seasons are awesome. Also true, but you have to like winter because it could be tough. But the quality of life is high. That depends on what you value most. It's all about fit. So before you start scrolling on Zillow and before you ever pack up those boxes, ask yourself these questions: can I afford both the cost of living and the lifestyle? Do I want 4 real seasons, even in the tough parts? Am I ready for infrastructure that isn't the most modern? Do I want opportunity now, or do I want long term stability? If yes, Connecticut still might be for you. If not, now you know why some people think twice before moving here in 2026. Drop a comment with which reason surprised you most, and if you want, check out my video, 7 Reasons to Move to Connecticut.